Hello and welcome back to Blackcomb Medical and of course Project Hospital. Now where we last left off we got our internal medicine department all up and running, but the name of the game today is going to be probably twofold. Firstly, I want to enable night shift in emergency and therefore everywhere else so that we can start accepting patients 24/7. And the second thing I want to do is I actually want to dip into doctor mode for a little bit, take control of our internal medicine department doctors, just so that I can see what they actually require. Because we have some space down here and we can build out things like x-ray rooms, histology labs, things of that nature that will help this run a lot more smoothly. So that is the general plan. But before we get too far into that, a couple of you guys have mentioned that these rooms aren't working. Turns out I forgot to add bins and sinks to every single one of these observation rooms. So that is what we're going to do first. It's going to be pretty simple. We're basically just going to do exactly this, and that will work fine. And throw in disinfectant dispensers above those bins, like so. And that is basically it. We just need to now add a mobile workstation to each of these rooms as well. Now, this is somewhat expensive. These mobile workstations cost like $900 each. If we made this one giant ward and put these in the hallways, that would solve that problem, but I kind of like having them as self-contained rooms. So that is what we're going to do. Now, hopefully these now work, except for these ones, they don't. For some reason, I forgot a whole bunch of stuff in these ones. So these ones need a CPR scan and an audio meter, and I also forgot to put in bed sockets here too, so we'll throw those in. There I believe is the bed, and medical lights. I really forgot a whole bunch of stuff in these rooms, didn't I? And that should now be working if we jump back into this, and they do now function, so that is fantastic. Sorry about that. I don't know how I managed to miss so many things there. But the next thing I think we should go ahead and do is start hiring some people for the night shifts. But before we do that, there is one thing I also forgot in the last episode. Richard Martin here needs to be renamed. So if we can open up his doctor card somehow. There we go. We did get a new Golden Panda member. All right, so it is Ruben Moretta. Thank you for becoming a Golden Panda. Sorry, I missed that in the last episode. I didn't check my membership numbers until after the fact. But we will go ahead and rename Richard Martin to Ruben. I wish tab worked in this menu. Moretta. So welcome to the Chief Doctor role in the Internal Medicine Department, Ruben Moretta. Thank you for becoming a member. If you guys are interested in being in the hospital, go ahead and join the membership program as a Golden Panda member or higher, and we will throw you in as soon as I notice that you've done that. Yeah, sorry about that. But next up, let's go ahead and get this hospital working at night. We're going to have a little bit of a skeleton crew during the night. We have so many doctors. We have 10 doctors during the day. We'll probably only need 3 or 4 during the night shift. We do already have night shift employees in our trauma center, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But we will need to employ some night shift workers in our x-ray rooms, in our janitors, as well as in our labs, and of course, in our internal medicine department. Our sexual health clinic will also need night shift doctors, and our administration department will need that as well. So I'm going to jump in, do a whole bunch of hiring, and we'll be back in a little bit. And with that done, I believe everything should now be open at night. Let's just quickly double check our stats on the left and right here. So our emergency department has everyone we need during the day and during the night. We only have 4 during the night, which is absolutely fine. Staff day and staff night in the hospitalization is all set up and working. For this, we currently have 2 radiologists, one during the day, one during the night. 2 janitors, perfect. Same thing here. We have 1 less technologist during the night, but that should be absolutely fine. Nights tend to be a little bit slower than anything else. Emergency ICU was already set up with everyone we need for that, so that should be absolutely fine. We will need to expand this department at some point just because we currently only have the 1 bed in there. I plan to add them just as we have collapses and as we need them. Internal medicine department has all of the doctors and stuff we need. We have 1 less doctor during the night, and our hospitalization is all set up. We have 15 stretchers, good to go. Sexual health clinic, also all set up. We only have 2 doctors during the nighttime because that clinic seems to be a little bit slower than the others. And for our administrative department, we have the janitor manager during the day. You can't hire one for the nighttime. 3 pharmacists day and night, and a janitor all around the clock. So that should all be set up and working. The next thing I want to jump into is going ahead and controlling some of our doctors in doctor mode for our internal medicine department, just to see where we stand in terms of things that we might need to add. So I'm going to go ahead and add 3 of our normal doctors. You can tell that they're normal doctors by their white coat. And then 3 of our, 3 of our hospitalization doctors. So we're going to take the ones that are actually working right now. So that'll be those 3. And we can go ahead and see what these guys need. So we'll do a little bit of diagnosing. We'll play a day in the life of our doctors in our internal medicine department and see what is going on. So we have our first patient here, Karen Barker. Her last procedure was blood pressure management. And she has cystic fibrosis. So she needs IV antibiotics, which she's already got. She should be pretty much right to go. We're just treating all of the things. We can go ahead and give her all of the things that she needs, and that should be good. Get you should be good as well. We'll just send you off with the things that you need. Well, the things that will help. That'll help to improve our prestige as well by giving them treatments for their symptoms that they currently have. So it's going to tell me that we need to do this for like everyone, and that should be okay. You need a lot of things. You have pneumonia. We'll give you all the things. It'll slow us down a little bit, but I think we have the staff to handle it at the moment, and that should be good. Now we can actually get into what we need to do. So yeah, you've got tranquilizers, and okay, it's just going to keep coming up. I'll be back once we actually have some diagnosing to do, and we'll go from there. Alright, we do have 1 room with a critical workload. Let's just quickly double check where that is. I imagine that's probably going to be radiology. Yes, it is. If we jump down, we currently only have the 1 radiology room. Workload at night is none, but I think we definitely could do with another one. So I'm basically just going to copy and paste this straight on over. If we just grab 1 more square and we do something like... I didn't grab enough. To there should work, and throw that down right about there. We have no money. We have minus $32,000. Let's go ahead and take out a little bit of a loan just to get this done. So copy this again and throw that down right about there. Only thing we need to do now is remove that wall. Everything else should be all set up. We'll just double check that our corridors do indeed work. So that will extend into there. And we'll go ahead and hire just 1 for the day for right now, because currently our workload at night is 0 because we didn't have nighttime doctors enabled. So let's have a look here. You are depressed. I don't like that. So Dana Walker, you are officially our new X-ray tech, and that should be good to go. We'll continue on with the time lapse, and I'll bring you back if anything exciting happens. We should be reaching 80% prestige at the end of the day. I'll skip over that. We also should be able to treat 70 patients today, maybe. We'll see how that goes. Surgery is still not something that we have set up, so we're not going to get that just yet. Alright, we have a new daily event. Publicity earned thanks to a famous influencer treated in your hospital attracts 50% more patients. So we have 135 people coming in today. We are going to be busy. We also have $100,000 in the bank, so we should go ahead and pay back at least some of this loan and continue on with the time lapse. We also have a patient collapsing, apparently, so let's just check on her and see what we can do. It looks like the ICU is currently busy, so we'll have to go ahead and copy and paste this room over. We'll go ahead and quickly do that. That should be all we need, and throw that right down there. And we now have a new ICU room. That does bring our budget down to 11,000, and we probably will also require another nurse and doctor for this. Although, I think I might leave this as 1 doctor and nurse per bed. 2 beds per doctor and nurse. So we'll leave that for now and see how that goes. We can go ahead and send you for ICU hospitalization, and we'll keep an eye on that. Looks like we have successfully stabilized this patient. They are getting all of the treatments we need, and that should be dealt with. She's also going to pay us a cool $15,000 once she leaves the hospital, so that is fantastic. All right, we actually have our first diagnosis here. This person has come in with petechiaea, I guess, which is tiny purple, red, or brown spots on the skin. We don't really know what's wrong with it, but we have some possible diagnoses. We can sort by department to narrow this down a little bit. It is definitely in internal medicine, so it is either a idiopathic aplastic anemia, Bernard-Solier syndrome, Evans syndrome, thrombocytopenia, atopic dermatitis, or infectious mononucleosis. So that is good to know. It looks like a lot of these things have to do with maybe the throat. So we'll start off simple. We'll go for a temperature measurement and a physical examination and see if that tells us anything new. We have a monitored patient is collapsing down here. She needs oxygenotherapy. I feel like that's definitely not how you say that word. She is currently suffering from unconsciousness, coma, and seizures. Coma looks like it is suppressed. Seizures are suppressed. The unconsciousness is what is giving her the collapse. Quickly, if we check on our ICU here, and we jump into this tab, we do currently have a free bed, so that is absolutely fine. We can send her over to the ICU to get dealt with, and she should be just fine. Here we can immediately diagnose you with salmonellosis, apparently, and get you... I don't know if this needs to be hospitalized or not. Antibiotics doesn't look like it. We'll try without. I'm really not 100% sure which patients I should be hospitalizing and which ones I shouldn't, but I'm doing my best out here. So it looks like this is an ear problem of some description. We should probably go ahead and do an ear examination. We'll do a temperature and physical as well, just to see what that gets us. You have whatever that is, disseminated intravascular coagulation. That doesn't sound particularly fun. And you are hospitalized currently in the HDU, so that is absolutely fine. Controlled doctor's patients collapsed and has been transferred. That's fair. So because we transferred them to the intensive care unit, the patient was assigned to another doctor. That is fine. We trust our doctors. They should be able to handle that just fine. So this is all going relatively well. I'm not seeing a lot of testing that these guys need in the internal medicine department, apart from maybe a lab of some description, but for right now, we're handling it fine, having the lab on a separate floor. But we will keep an eye on that as we go along. This doctoring that I've been doing for about, wow, it's only been going on for about 3 hours. I think day shift starts at 7, yeah. Yeah, so 3 hours of doctoring. We really haven't had very many tests need to be sent out for. So I'm pretty confident in the fact that this department is up and running as we need it to be. We still don't know what you've got though. So let's diagnose you and then we'll move on and jump out of doctor mode, make sure everything is running smoothly on its own, and go from there. All right, so for this patient here, we do have a couple of things. We have like CBC sampling, which is a hematology lab. We have X-ray chest. We have a blood draw, which is the hematology lab. Microbial sampling. My God, my words just aren't working today. PCR sampling, CT scans, biopsies, things of that nature. So it makes me think that potentially an X-ray room and a lab on this floor in particular wouldn't be the worst idea. I'm just basically running a whole bunch of tests to see what people have. I really don't know the best tests to run because I really haven't played with internal medicine all that much. But we are going to jump out of doctor mode for the moment. Make sure this is all running smoothly enough. Check on the workload on both our labs and our X-ray clinics and see how that goes. So this is gastroscopy. Where do you need to go to get a gastroscopy is my question. That is general internal medicine department. Okay. Why are you waiting so long is my question. Internal medicine department. The waiting room is empty. How are our rooms going? These are medium to low. That should be fine. These are all low. These are none. So that should be fine. Why is the wait so long is my question. Is it these? None and low? No, that should be fine. I don't know why that is taking so long. It could potentially be because we don't have enough nurses and doctors in the actual medical unit. Let's see. This is workload day low. Down here is workday low. So it's not these, none and medium. If anyone can tell me in the comments why this would be the case when all of our things are fine, that would be fantastic. I imagine the only thing that I can think of is the fact that we maybe don't have enough doctors. We only currently have 2 doctors. Oh no, we have 4 doctors on. Let's go ahead and hire another 2 doctors and see if that fixes that problem. All right, we hired 2 more daytime doctors. And how are our nurses doing? You are patient care. You are transfers. You are transfers. So we should be fine there. Plenty of nurses hanging about the place. I'm going to jump back into the time lapse and see how this goes. But before we do that, I do want to just address the fact that we have purchased 3 ambulances as our next objective here. The reason that I'm not doing that just yet is because we do have this event running and we're currently getting 135 patients per day. I don't want to increase that without needing to. So as soon as this event is over, we will go ahead and purchase that 3rd ambulance. We should also go ahead and pay down our loan sum. Loan is currently $240,000, but we are making good money. Today alone, we've made $84,000. Yesterday, we made $69,000. So it's going up and it should continue to go up as this department gets more efficient. We also treated 80 patients per day. So we can go ahead and pay down our loan even further now, which is fantastic. And we'll jump back into the time lapse, make sure this is all running smoothly, and be back in a little bit. All right, we have a patient with no clear diagnosis because we've run out of tests that we can potentially run on them. Let's just quickly take a look at this, and it definitely can be multiple things. So we're definitely going to need to increase our testing. I think one of the things that I would like to add pretty quickly here is, well, actually, can we do heart monitoring if we just put her in an observation room? We can, but I would like to add microbial sampling because it seems like that is a pretty common test to run, as well as potentially a CT machine. But I'm not sure if I want to get to that just yet. We do have $29,000 in the bank. We're probably going to have to take out a little bit more of a loan to get this done. But we will go ahead and build a microbiology lab, and I'm going to build it up here. So we'll grab our, where is it? Our labs. And wait, do we already have one? Why can't we do that test? Oh, right. Right. We do have that test available. She just needs to be hospitalized in order to do that. So if we let the game play, we now have these tests available to us. So that should be fine. We should now be able to do more tests on her. I'm going to start with differential diagnosis just so the doctors sort of take over again. I don't know if that's necessary, but it's something I like to do. So we're going to continue with the time lapse and see how we go. Well, I say that, but we have a patient here who can't be fully treated. That is probably because you've been misdiagnosed? No, you have not. What can't we do? ERT. That's there. Treatment for patient's diagnosis is not available. Enzyme replacement therapy is a medical treatment which replaces an enzyme that is deficient or absent in the body. Why can't we do that? We should be able to do that. Is that just because you need to be hospitalized in order to do that? I imagine you probably do. We do that. Does that work? No clear diagnosis for you. That's fine. We can go ahead and order a whole bunch of other tests and see if that helps out. Yeah, I'm not sure why we couldn't do the ERT. It looks like that has worked now. We're transferring it over to HDU. She started getting seizures. This should be applied though. We'll also recommend diet modification. We also can't prescribe antidepressants for some reason. That's weird. We have treated 100 patients for the day though, giving us another $100,000 in the bank. So we can go ahead and pay back almost all of this loan. $40,000 left on that loan. Fantastic. We are making money slowly but surely. We've also finished all of the objectives for the uninsured, which is great to see. Our prestige is still at 5 stars, and we still have one room with a critical workload. It looks like that is still radiology. And which one is it? So yeah, that's critical. That's high. I think what I'd like to do is go ahead and build an x-ray room up here that is more designed for our internal medicine department, because I think they do use the x-rays somewhat. The other place that I would like to build an x-ray room is like down here somewhere so that we can get the people who are hospitalized in emergency some x-rays without having them needing to, you know, use these ones. We can just save these for people who are not hospitalized, so clinic patients only. So let me go ahead and build up, we're going to take a loan out again, build up 2 x-ray rooms down here and go from there. Okay, so I put an x-ray room here. This one will be specifically for hospitalized patients, and hopefully that will be for the hospitalized patients in the emergency room. They sort of just use the closest one that is available to them. So we'll go ahead and get Christopher Barkley in there, and we need someone during the night as well. It looks like Casey Martin will be fine, and you guys will only be doing hospitalized patients. And for you guys, I'm going to say you can still do both, but you guys only do clinic patients. And I'm going to hire another tech for the night over here as well, just to make sure that we have enough when we need them. You guys can still do both. That is absolutely fine. And then for up here, we're going to obviously make these guys hospitalized patients only as well, which will mean that some of our people that go into our normal clinic and do need x-rays will end up going downstairs, but I'm not too concerned about that. Also left a gap of 4 here just so that we can have a hallway come down through here and across there so that we can get a couple more rooms in if we need them, just so that you guys are aware of that. Otherwise, this is just a copy paste of our original x-ray room for those of you playing along at home. So we'll get you guys in, and you guys are hospitalized patients only. That should hopefully help out with our demand on our radiology department. Alright, our patient numbers have gone back to normal. I didn't actually see how many people we sent away yesterday, but the reason that I'm interested in that is because I want to go ahead and get that 3rd ambulance up and running. So we'll go ahead and quickly do that. And we'll slot in right about there. That is objective complete. And we can see what our next objective is for there. And that is just to treat 30 patients per day at emergency. That should be very simple to do. That will increase our patients as well. Of course, we could go ahead and purchase 5 ambulances to get quick snap care up and running, and we might do that once we've run for another day and have a little bit more money, because I would like this loan to be not there. Yesterday, though, we did make $145,000, so that is fantastic. Expansion should be relatively quickly once we have this all set up and running, because we can basically just copy and paste this up to the next floor. We have all of our wards already set up, and that should be absolutely fine. All right, we have another long wait for examination. Let's just check on how occupied we are in here at the moment. Looks like we've still got quite a few beds. In terms of doctors, we currently have 5 during the day. We might go ahead and grab another 2 at night. Let's have a look at how many people are in here. So we currently have none of our nurses available, so it might be a nursing problem actually. I'm going to go ahead and hire 2 more night doctors and hire another 2 or 3 nurses just to get this department up and running as best as it possibly can be. Right, that is another 2 doctors on patient transfers at night and 1 more patient care nurse, as well as 1 more doctor during the nighttime. So that, or 2 more doctors actually during the nighttime. So hopefully that helps out with that, and we'll continue on. All right, looks like we need to go ahead and build ourselves another ICU bed. That should be no problem at all. We do have a little bit of cash in the bank, so we'll go ahead and actually rotate these ones around, get them as close to each other as we can, and we may as well add 2 more in. But in doing that, we will probably require some more nurses and doctors. I'm just going to hire 1 more of each. Like I said before, 2 beds per nurse and per doctor. So I'm going to go ahead and hire them, and we'll be back in a little bit. Actually, I changed my mind with the nurses here. Currently, these guys are doing patient transfers and patient care. I think I would like to split that up a little bit more. So I think I will go ahead and hire 4 more nurses, 2 for the day and 2 for the night. One of them will be dedicated to patient transfers, and the other ones will be dedicated to patient care. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick. We now have 2 doctors, 2 nurses during the day and 2 nurses at night doing patient care, and we have 1 nurse dedicated to patient transfers. We might need to change that around a little bit and get some more patient transfer nurses in there, but that should hopefully help out the ICU just that little bit more. The other thing that we probably should do while we're talking about stuff is go ahead and grab ourselves another bed in the trauma center, because we did add a 3rd ambulance, and I like to have 1 bed per ambulance. So we'll go ahead and copy over this, rotate it around, and I guess we'll fit it in there. That should be fine. We just need to go ahead and remove that wall that was placed and change that floor back to the normal floor, which I believe is that. Nope, that's the wrong floor. Is it this one? That's the one. Perfect. So now we have 3 beds in there, and that should work out quite nicely. We could go ahead and add more, but like I said before, we are still waiting for that magical number of $100,000 so we can go ahead and pay back this entire loan. Now it's 80, but you know what I'm saying. We'll jump back into the time lapse and make sure everything else is working as it should be. Right, it is currently 8 o'clock. We still have 1 room with a critical workload. I imagine that is still radiology for some reason. And it looks like, oh, it's actually moved. That one's medium. This one is actually critical, which is interesting. Workload at night is also high. That is interesting indeed. We might need more than 1 x-ray room up here. So we can pretty simply go ahead and do that. Just copy that straight over there and simply hire 2 more x-ray techs for up here. Again, dedicated to hospitalized patients only. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We'll go ahead and hire both of you guys. Don't do clinic patients, and that should sort that problem out. I think at this point, this clinic is running very, very smoothly. I don't know if these extra row of beds are ever actually going to be necessary. If we have a look at our internal medicine department, you can see we still currently have quite a few empty beds. But when we get things like events and stuff, that might change. Of course, as we expand this hospital and go up, adding more and more departments, the need for this department is also going to shrink. So I don't think that those beds are necessary, but I like having that extra room just in case they ever are. We can always go ahead and add more beds in. But we are going to continue. We are so close to being able to pay off this loan. We currently have $71,000 in the bank. We did obviously just have to pay a little bit more to get that X-ray clinic up and running. We should be able to reach 90% prestige at the end of the day at emergency today, so I'm not too concerned about that because that will put us over the edge of getting this up and running. These people can't be diagnosed for some particular reason. We're going to send you to the sexual health clinic to be diagnosed. Not sure why you weren't transferred automatically. We are still having patients collapsing every now and then, but we seem to be handling it just fine. I spoke too soon. We've had our first death. So what happened here? You have severe thrombocytopenic purpura. Okay, that's a word. What is that? Causes purpura. It is a pectial, non-infiltrated, isolated, or that word, sometimes associated with large hematomas. Discovery of purpura requires the prescription of a blood count. Platelet count is usually less than 20 giga per liter. There you go. That required a blood transfusion. Apparently we couldn't get there in time. You died from lower digestive hemorrhage. That is unfortunate. This leads us to a fantastic point though, and something that I actually did want to do. I can't do it from there. Is I want to get an autopsy room up and running. So let's go ahead and do that. And that is going to live down here somewhere. I haven't planned this out even a little bit, but we need pathology. And what does this require? This requires an autopsy room, a cold room, on-call, nurse's station, and a cleaning closet. I think we can definitely fit that in back here somewhere. We could potentially also fit it in down here, but I think I want to leave this for like CT scans and stuff. This was probably going to be labs at some point, so maybe we can fit it in this back corner here. And that will work out nicely. I'm going to go ahead and try and lay this out as best I can, and we'll be back in, you guessed it, a little bit. All right, this should work out just fine. Our autopsy room here is 8x6, cold room 4x6, on-call room 10x6, nurse's station 5x10, little break room here at 5x7, 5x4 restroom, and a 5x4 cleaning closet. And then, of course, we need to go ahead and make sure that this is actually corridor for this department. And we'll go ahead and build this up really quick. All right, that is officially a pathology department all up and running. I did add more computers than we probably need here. I am just going to hire one doctor during the day and during the night, just because that seems reasonable to me. We really aren't having that many deaths in this hospital that we need more than one at the moment. That may change later on. Hopefully it doesn't, but that is the plan for now. Let's go ahead and hire, what are we hiring here? This is janitors, right. So we have a beautiful candidate here for night shift, and we'll go ahead and grab Elizabeth Wilson for during the day. In terms of our nurses, I'm going to give them surgery nurse just because that seems to fit more thematically with the pathology department in general. I don't know if it actually makes any difference whatsoever, but that is what we are going to do. We're again going to hire one for the day and one for the night. Frank Wilson, you are hired. And then for our doctors, we are going to give them anesthesiologist, just because I did hear, I think in one of the comments of the last series, that these doctors, if they get to a dead body quick enough, they can go ahead and save them if they have this. I think it's very rare, but it apparently can happen. So we are going to leave that on and hope that that happens at some point for us. I don't know that it will, but you never know. And that should, in theory, be all up and running and working. So we now have a working pathology department. What is this guy doing? Can we send you for an autopsy? Do we need to transfer you to another department? How does that work? We haven't sent you to funeral services yet. Is this all working properly? That's fine, that's fine. We have a bed in both. Potentially because he died before we had one, we can't actually send him there, but that doesn't seem correct. He's definitely dead, right? Yeah, dead. I can't transfer him from the ICU. I can't give him an autopsy. So maybe we have to wait for the next patient. Let me know down in the comments below if that is indeed the case, because I am not actually sure. I have never built up a pathology department before. But a hospital is coming together. We only have these few small little areas left to fill up. And let's also just check that our emergency department hospitalization is in fact working, and it looks like it is. We have Mark Lee in here. We don't know what's wrong with him. He should probably drink something though. And he needs PCR, CT, or biopsy sampling to get any further in his diagnosis. Let's see if we can help that along. Well, firstly, he's in the wrong department. He should be in the sexual health department. And then we should be able to figure out what is actually wrong with him. Why do I not have any of my tests available? We've already done general swabs. I honestly don't know what's wrong with this guy, but we might need to build a hematology lab. Don't we have hematology and histology? Do we not have both of those? Let's just check. We have hematology. We don't have histology. That would probably go in here if we were to build one. And you know what? I think we will. Well, yeah, I think we will. Why not? So that is a histology lab. How big are these bad boys? These are 12 by 6, and that is 12 by 6. Perfect. So we can basically just go ahead and copy this, which I believe that is the full room. Rotate that around a couple times. Slap that in there, and then that also already has all of... No, because it's the wrong department. I just built another hematology lab. Histology lab goes in there. Now it'll be missing equipment. And we can go ahead and delete all of the things on these desks here to get this up and running with the actual equipment that we need. So if you don't know, hold control while you're hovering over an object to select the object that is on top of it. And I believe that is everything. We now just need to add a couple things. So we'll add glassware either side. We'll add a lab analyzer either side. Medical centrifuge goes on the ground. We can get rid of one of these fridges and add a centrifuge right about there. I wouldn't mind having another one. Oh, that's in front of the sink. Can we rotate that sink around? Yeah, that works out a little bit better. Microscopes on either side. I think there's something still on this desk. Let's rotate the camera so I can actually see. Oh, there's just no desk there. So we will eyedropper that one, throw that in there, and grab our microscope for that side. Stool analyzer on either side, please. Can I... Oh, there's a flower there. Stool analyzer either side, and I believe that is all we need, so I probably could have left that flower, but we'll add a flower on either side of that desk. Leave that poster where it is. Make sure that we actually have everything we need, and go ahead and hire some staff. Now, I don't believe this is required super often, so we'll probably just go ahead and hire one for the day and one for the night and call it there. Make sure we keep an eye on that in the future to make sure that that is not overloaded, but that should hopefully help out. And I just want to check you. Can we still not? Yeah, no, we still can't. We still can't do that for you. Select department? Nope. Okay. I don't know how to get you an autopsy. I am sorry. We'll never know the reason of your death. Well, we know the reason, but we won't get paid for your death, which is what it is. That's probably reasonable. We are coming up on the end of the day. We should get 90% prestige at emergency. That gives us a $100,000 grant. And we have 35% more injured patients arriving each day as well. So that will definitely help out. But we can now go ahead and pay off that loan. We still have $65,000 in the bank. We've completed all the objectives that are available to us, apart from performing a surgery, because we don't have that department yet. I think that's probably what's going to happen in the next episode, to be fair. I'm going to let this run for one more day, make up some money, and then we will go from there. Oh, I just realized why that guy died. He requires an endovascular embolization, and we don't have that. We don't have that even a little bit. So that is something that we need to do. And I have had this problem before, but I can't remember what unit it was. I believe it might have been a sonography unit, potentially. Let me just consult the Discord real quick, because I did post about it last time, and I'll be back with an answer real quick. All right, so it's actually the CAG room. Coronary angiography is a medical technique also called arteriography that visualizes blood vessels and organs in the body. So this is something that we need pretty urgently, honestly. And I think this is probably something that we can fit up here. That makes the most sense to me. We have a decent amount of room back here. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make this 10 by 6. I think that's probably bigger than we need it to be, but that is going to be what I do. And then considering this is all radiology, we'll make that their issue to deal with. And we might even go ahead and throw in a cleaning closet back here as well. We'll make that 10 by 4 is so big. I really don't need it to be that big. Instead, we could maybe add it down the bottom here at like a 4 by 6. Yeah, let's go with that for now. I believe that's how big my cleaning rooms is. I can probably just use the template, to be fair. If we jump in here and go for the cleaning closet, I could add it back here, but that's going to make these rooms a little bit weird. I don't know where to put it. I think I'm just going to put it at the end of the hallway here and call that fine. We'll make sure that we actually designate that to, well, it already is, so that's fantastic. We'll designate that there, and then we'll go ahead and unpaint this outside wall because no one's ever going to see it. And we'll unpaint that outside wall just so that this is all consistent. This is going to be our corridor, and that's going to lead to our CAG room. I'll get that built up nice and quickly, and we'll be back in a little bit. You guys are going to let me know in the comments either way, but is this like radioactive or like, you know what I mean? Like X-rays and gamma rays and shit. Like, does this need to be behind a wall or not? Because I am not sure. For now, I'm going to throw this down there and maybe that'll be fine. You guys let me know in the comments if this needs to be like an isolation room, similar to how we have our X-ray room set up, or if this all being in the same room is actually just fine. That would be fantastic. I'm going to throw this desk in the middle of the room here because I think it will fill out the room a little bit nicer. Sort of have the patient come in here and this be like the officey space, which means we're going to have some equipment cabinets towards the back here with possibly these shorter ones in the middle. We can put some decorations on those and that will be good. We'll have a obligatory bamboo plant in the back there. The brochures really don't look very good to me, so we're going to throw bonbons on this guy's desk instead. Throw a nice little flower in there as well as a phone for him to be called from. And we will throw up a couple of posters and call this room pretty much good to go. I hope you guys don't mind that I just sort of throw random posters around the place. I never really pay attention to what I'm actually putting down. I hope you guys don't mind. And then we'll throw a small card file just in the back there. And I feel like this room would have a printer. It doesn't require one, but I want to put one in anyway. So let me try and find the printer real quick. because this is not searchable and I really wish it was. Might be in medical equipment, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but it goes in doctor's offices. There it is. It is officially medical equipment if you are looking for a printer. So that is that room all set up. We can now go ahead and hire some techs for this. This is just going to be pretty classic radiology techs. Whoever we can get who's pretty good will do for me. We are going to go for... These guys are all kind of bad, to be fair. 11%, not what I want. Fraser Thomas, you are in. We are going to give these hospitalized patients only just because we don't have a waiting room down here. And that should be fine. Now, if we jump back into this patient, we can actually give him the treatment that he needs so that he doesn't die. Although that would have been a good test of our pathology department. I am glad that I caught the fact that we actually did require that in order to get that working. So we'll go ahead and follow this guy and check him out while he is doing this exam. Hopefully he doesn't perish in the meantime. Looks like we might get there just in time. It looks like it's already been suppressed, even just as we send him for it. It must immediately treat them as soon as you give it to them. But yeah, let me know if we need glass in here or not, because I am actually quite curious. But we have officially saved James Young. He is stable again, which is fantastic. I'm going to let this run to the end of the day, and then we'll go from there. All right, we actually have a clinic patient that's about to leave. Spent a lot of time in the hospital without being treated or hospitalized. You're in the sexual health department. Why are you guys struggling so much? Let's jump over to their department and have a quick look-see here. In terms of doctors for nights, we have 2. Workloads are fine. Oh, I know what it is. I didn't hire any techs for nighttime in the sexual health clinic labs. So if we do that, that should hopefully fix that problem. So I'll do that and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, we now actually have techs in that department, and that should work out a whole lot better. Yes, that is all set up and working. So hopefully this patient doesn't end up leaving. Yep, they're now going to the doctor and getting sorted out. So that is good to see. And they're going to leave anyway. That is unfortunate. Can we just immediately diagnose her so that she doesn't leave? Is she even in the right department? Oh, she could be. She could be. Can we just hospitalize her instead? She might leave anyway. Yeah, I think she's still going to leave. She got fed up. She had a long wait, waited for food, was bored, uncomfortable, untreated. That makes sense. But hopefully having the doctors or the technicians actually in that clinic will make a big difference. We definitely have all of the things we need to stabilize this guy. I am checking that a little bit more vigorously at the moment, so that should all work out quite nicely. All right, we've definitely misdiagnosed someone here. This patient can't be released from observation because they do not have chronic tonsillitis. I can tell you that for free. They either have bacterial or sinusitis. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. Go ahead and look in their nasal cavity and give them a laryngoscopy. Hopefully that gives us a better idea of what this actually is. We can also go ahead and give them a differential diagnosis. That might just narrow it down fine for us. And it seems like the laryngoscopy might have done it. One of them did. And they officially have sinusitis, which we can actually treat. We'll go ahead and give them all of the things that they need. And insulin therapy is occupied. Okay. Looks like our emergency clinic might be struggling a little bit here. Let's have a quick look at that. Go downstairs. We have low, medium, a couple mediums. Nothing high though. We have 3 patients waiting. Interesting. We only have 2 beds full over here. We have plenty of doctors working on things. Who was that patient? Let's have a quick look. That is someone in our trauma center. Okay. Do we not have enough doctors? Where are our doctors down here? These guys. Oh, okay. I see the problem. I added this third bed, but I didn't hire a third doctor for in here. So let's go ahead and do that. We only currently have one patient care nurse, which we might need more of. We have 2 trauma center nurses, 2 transfer nurses. I think we need to go ahead and hire another doctor for the trauma center and another nurse specifically for the trauma center. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick. All right, and hopefully that means this patient actually gets treated a little bit quicker here. Hopefully. They are currently idle. They are waiting on insulin therapy still. I kind of want to see where they have to go for that because all of our nurses are just sitting around. This guy, I think, is our trauma doctor. That's Peter Clark, right? Yeah. So here's the doctor for this patient. Why is this patient not getting things done? Let's go ahead and give them all the other things that they potentially need as well. I'm not sure why insulin therapy isn't being offered. We definitely have it available, right? Like if we cancel it, can we not do that? No, it can't be can't be prescribed in this department. Okay, that makes sense. So can we, okay, now it can? Because you've been transported to internal medicine. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We still needed those doctors and nurses anyway, just to get our trauma center up and running as smoothly as it possibly can be. I mean, we're charging our patients a lot of money to be coming to this hospital, so it's only fair that they get the best possible care that they can. We do currently have $174,000 in the bank, which is fantastic. I think we're pretty close to being able to add another floor, although I would like to wait probably at least one more day to get that done, just so that we don't have to take out a massive loan in order to do that. But it seems to me everything else is running relatively smoothly. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments if there is anything that I have definitely overlooked, because it's highly likely. Like the fact that we don't have any labs up here is probably an issue in the long run. That is something that we can add over time. I also need to add a waiting room up here, but everything else is good. Why can't we give you nitrates or thrombotics? Do we need those? Corticosteroids, cardiac arrest is defibrillation. We can do that. That is nitrates. That is a problem. Nitrates are regular ward, high dependency unit, ICU. Okay, you're in the HDU, so that should be fine. Why can't we give it to you? If we send you to the ICU, can we give that to you? Maybe? ICU hospitalization is pending. There we go. Now we can. Okay, so he just wasn't hospitalized yet. That's fine. We definitely have all of the things that we need to treat that patient. On that note, I think we are going to leave the episode there. I believe I did enough talking in this episode. If you haven't, please make sure to go ahead and leave a like down below. We still have an overworked room. What is it? It's still the radiology department. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. That's critical. That's low. Yeah, we're good. We're good. They're just using this one more than the other one because it's closer. All right. If you haven't already, make sure to go and leave a like, leave a comment for the sake of engagement. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Go ahead and join as a member if you'd like to support the channel. But until next time, happy building, happy doctoring. Bye, guys.